the Laid Off Lads podcast, where three average guys from Central Florida discuss anything but average topics and have all the time to do it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Laid Off Lads podcast. I am here with two complete idiots. Oh my God. It's like wrangling cats with you two.
Be quiet so we can start the pod. Be quiet so we can start the pod. I just don't understand the be quiet part. And nor did you say really be hard. Quiet. When you tell us to be quiet, that makes it so much harder to be quiet.
I've noticed.
Just reminds me of the Office episode. They timing how long they can keep quiet for. Just you've never seen The Office, Ferris, and that's going to be a what? I watched 4 hours of The Office last night on TBS with commercials.
With commercials?
Yeah, dude. Knowing that I could watch it without commercials, I watched 4 hours straight with commercials. It's that good. You've got to watch The Office, dude.
I'll get around to it at some point. It's just, I don't know. I've never really had a desire to watch it. I've just never.
You don't have a job. Yeah, I was going to say, what do you got going on right now? Yeah.
That's a good point. I'm laid off. How about you guys?
Yeah, we're laid off when we watch The Office.
Cool.
Correct.
I'm laid off and I don't, but we are the three laid off lads. Welcome to another episode of this podcast and our laid off lad journey, if you want to call it that. Laid off lads journey. Again, thank you all for the support, the likes, the loves, the comments. We really appreciate it. We are continuing to try to figure out how to properly do a audio and video type podcast. And it's been a roller coaster so far of audio issues and video conferencing issues and all sorts of odd and end things. But thank you for sticking with us thus far. We really, really appreciate it. We'll get down to the topics that we have. And one of those today, as we move into our first segment, the classifieds, is instead of looking up a job that we might have seen come across us this week, we had a topic that was sent in to us that we think would probably be better for the classified section. That being from the infamous brother of Mr. Christopher Boyce, Kevin Boyce. Is it Major Kevin Boyce of the United States Marine Corps.
There it is.
Thank you for your service, Mr. Boyce. And you sent in something that we thought was quite interesting. And as we are looking for jobs right now, this is quite prolific in what we would love and hope and dream of, and that is he sent in dream job. Essentially, what our dream jobs would be. The major in the United States Marine Corps, his dream job would be a drum set player on a Tonight Show.
He is a badass drummer.
Is he really?
He is a badass drummer. He's been drumming since he was in high school in the drum corps, and now he's into his 40s. Just constant nonstop drumming. He used to be a drummer for the Marine Corps band, the band that plays with the president and all that stuff. Like, that's phenomenal, awesome. Phenomenal drummer.
That's awesome. So what you have drums behind you?
I do. I've got two drum sets behind me. I've got the electric drum set, and I've got the standard drum set to this side. Mary's a great drummer too.
So why are you phenomenal if he is?
I'll get there. I've been working on the guitar during this whole laid off period, so I'm mastering the guitar. Mary's always been really solid on the drums, but I got her the electric drum set for Christmas just so we can be respectful of all the kids who are doing school and virtual learning, and disrupt the entire household.
Partners in the drum world.
Yeah. So this is the music.
Can you sing though? Can you sing?
I was in chorus for 4 years in high school.
I never did that either.
The question still asks, can you sing? Just because you were in chorus doesn't
depends.
mean you
I don't
sing.
know. That's a subjective. I don't know.
It's like everybody says, "Oh, I can play soccer." Oh yeah, how? I played when I was 4.
No.
Yeah,
but your voice doesn't. I don't think your voice applies to that.
Have you tried though?
It's similar in nature because everybody did something in high school for a few years. Like, did anybody actually learn Spanish from Spanish class?
I took 5 years of French.
No.
And do you know any bit of French?
I understand it, but speaking it, horrible.
Right. So like, what's the point?
I thought I was going to move to Canada because I loved hockey. I lived in Philadelphia,
That's true.
right outside of Philadelphia. Huge hockey fan. I'm like, what language am I going to learn? Spanish? That's way down south. I want to play hockey. I'm going to move up to Canada. They speak French up there.
They do.
That's the reason I took it.
They do.
Did it work out? No. Dream job?
Dream job. I'm interested to hear what Major Kevin Boyce's Tonight Show would be, or if he just kind of on any Tonight Show.
No, he would want to be the drummer for the Tonight Show. I think he's close to retiring.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's been in the Marine Corps for, well over, 25 years, something like that. So he's debating retiring. So I think
good for him.
The next venture is on his list. So.
Oh, so he's still in.
He's still in. Yeah.
Damn. Is he stateside or is he overseas?
He's in North Carolina right now.
Okay.
He does a lot of planning for future potential events. I'll keep it at that. He does. I can't text him during the day because he's in a room where there's no signals of any sort, and your cell phone is in a steel box, and so he does things that we don't talk about.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kevin Boyce, Major Kevin Boyce, for sending in the topic. Who wants to go first with this in your dream job?
I'll do it.
There he is.
I've always wanted to be a seismologist. I have a seismologist. It's geophysics.
It's for the earthquakes.
Yeah. I have a huge fascination with earthquakes and volcanoes and everything that happens with the earth. I've got about 7 earthquake apps on my phone and my iPad. Anytime there's an earthquake of 5.0 or above on the earth, I get a notification. So I sort of like study where they are, certain patterns and how they happen. It's fascinating. I am a huge science geek. I would have been a geologist or a seismologist. More seismology because it deals with earthquakes. That would be my dream job. Aside from what I'm doing now, the stock market thing is actually going pretty well. So this could potentially turn into a dream job, but it's stressful and there's a lot of variables. But steady dream job.
Yeah, it is.
Seismologist, man. Earthquakes are fascinating. I've always wanted to experience. Actually, I did experience one in the state of Florida.
I was about to say, you probably have to move somewhere else to experience one.
There was one earthquake. Yes, it was in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico.
Back in the 1930s, there was an earthquake.
It's 6.5. I want to say it was around the 2005 range. I know where I lived. I was sitting at my computer chair online, and it's one of those chairs that, it's got wheels and it rocks and all that stuff. So I'm sitting there and it was dead silent. Nobody was home. And I heard the sound of trucks. We lived in a quiet neighborhood at the time. I'm like, why are there it sounded like dump trucks were outside, like in the distance. And you hear this sort of faint rumble, and my chair was very, very slightly going back and forth. I'm like, that's really odd. So later that day, I went to TGI Fridays to watch an Eagles game. When we got there, there was a notification at the bottom of the screen that said earthquake in the Gulf of Mexico, 6.5. And that's what I felt. And it's so rare. There are no earthquakes in this region at all. And if there are, they're typically attributed to something. There was a quake off the coast of Jacksonville about 2 or 3 years ago that I got a notification on. It was like a 5.2. And later on, they said they were doing some depth charge testing. So there was explosives underwater that triggered the seismometers.
So what did the dump trucks have to do with it? And
it was the sound.
It was the sound that you heard?
Okay. Very faint, almost rumbling sort of sound where if you hear 2 or 3 dump trucks driving by off in the distance, you're like, man, what's that sound? But we lived in a very quiet neighborhood where you wouldn't have dump trucks driving through it. But you heard it and you're like, man, that sounds like a dump truck. But it was the sound of the earth moving. And my chair was slightly rocking back and forth. I'm like, what the hell's happening? Wrote it off entirely because quakes don't happen here until I saw that notification a couple hours earlier that a 6.5 quake had happened in the Gulf of Mexico. One of the rarest events you'll ever see.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I was here during that time. I don't remember that whatsoever. But
it was faint. It was faint. You had to be in the most ideal situation. I was in a quiet room, completely silent, undisturbed, in a chair that, a computer desk chair,
Right,
rocks, and it's got wheels, but
like the ground didn't move enough for if you're walking down the street to feel it.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
That is interesting. So where would so a seismologist, obviously if that was your dream job, you wouldn't want to base it out of Florida because you probably wouldn't get a whole lot of action to keep you employed for years. Where in the world would you want to move? Would it be California? Would it be overseas to?
No, you got to be out west. That's where a majority of the earthquakes happen in the Ring of Fire, which is basically the Pacific Ocean that circles the west coast up to Alaska, down to Russia, down Asia, and all the way down. It's a big circle basically surrounding the Pacific Ocean. Those are the most prevalent area of earthquakes. That's where all the activity happens. All the volcanoes happen around there. Ring of Fire, all the earthquakes happen there. But when you get them in the middle of the United States, that's where it gets really interesting because you've got what they call the New Madrid seismic zone near St. Louis. It's near Missouri, and there's a couple states that intersect there. But probably about 200 years ago, there was a 9.1 earthquake that you could feel basically from St. Louis all the way to the East Coast. I mean, just decimated everything. So that's one of those fault lines that are way overdue for an earthquake. Everybody talks about the San Andreas fault being the big one, but one of the biggest ones in terms of the central United States is the New Madrid fault line, which is around the St. Louis area. When that happens, it's going to be horrible. I study this stuff all the time. It's fascinating.
Is it predicted to happen?
Point and because lifetime? It's been so silent, it has, just like California, we've got your 1.2 range earthquakes where it's just letting off a little bit of the pressure. It doesn't happen often in this area. So the less it happens, the more pressure is building up. So you almost want, just like in California, you want these small earthquakes to happen consistently because it's relieving the pressure of the big
build up. It doesn't just kind of release it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's not at all to happen. It would have happened last year if it was going to happen.
That's true.
It would have happened.
No. It'll happen this year because everybody's like, oh, this year has to be better than last year. Everything's going to be fine. And all of a sudden, boom, fault line, done.
That's the aftershock.
The United States in half.
Seattle's going to be the next big one.
Calling it now?
Seattle. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. I'll bet you a handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
You heard it here first on the Laid Off Lads podcast. The next earthquake is going to happen in Seattle.
Yeah.
This is how you're going to land a job.
Yep.
There's a huge fault up there. It's called a thrust fault. Where
Thrust.
Two plates of the earth, basically you're pushing together, and one of them just got to go boom. And that pressure that sends it up sends a tsunami all throughout the Northwest. That's a big one. That's one of the biggest and most potentially devastating fault lines in this country.
So when you get a job doing that, we'll be doing this call with you being in Seattle.
Yes. Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
Reporting live. Yeah, you have to be like out in the field somewhere with the mic. That's awesome, boys. That's not at all what I thought you were going to say, but that's awesome. Phil, what you got?
For me, I mean, honestly, anything. I would love to go to England and just work for any soccer club. I mean, that's been a dream of mine for a while, and I know that you and I's trip got canceled to head over there for the first time, but that is something I've always dreamed of, and that's why I was looking at those jobs. And when you and I were at Starbucks the other day, just seeing what's out there, and I've been looking at study abroad options for UCF and see if they have anything. But literally, I'll take any job working for one of them clubs. I think it'd be a great experience, and I just always had a thing for soccer, and I would just absolutely love it.
You got the hair for it.
That's awesome. You do have the hair for it.
I do have the hair for it.
Yeah,
I'd fit in real quick over there.
The hair game is strong with you.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Anything in particular you would want to do though with a soccer club?
No.
Anything.
No, literally, like I told you last,
like marketing.
I'll be a ball boy. I wouldn't care.
Ball boy.
Marketing, social media stuff, the office, sales. I would Care less, man.
Player personnel, trades, and all of that.
No, I mean, again, you are kind of brought into the brand, and if I ever got a chance to work for Arsenal, I hands down would leave everything here in an instant. Everything in an instant. If I got to slap on a polo with an Arsenal badge on it and just got to go to work, that'd be awesome for me.
Yeah, it's when you say dream job, you think of all these things, and having something in soccer, working for United or anything like that would be outstanding. But then it becomes a job, right? So do you end up not liking, not liking it, but it takes away from the fun you have with it now? Like, for instance, we all, used to work in a theme park. Spending 365 days there, the last place I wanted to be on a day off was in a theme park.
Right.
Which is true. True. And I would say that the other dream job that I would have would be like a beer taster that get to travel the world and just post about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, those people that just get to travel and experience, like, taste test food and write reviews, that is one hell of a job.
Just to go there, sponsors, and you're good to go.
Oh yeah, 100%. And you see these Instagram influencers that get to do it, and there's a little bit of jealousy within that. But yeah, those are probably my top two.
All right. I have, if I go to like one that is within the realm of possibility, and then one that's not, like the one that's not for me, a DJ in a Ibiza.
Nice.
Why is that out of possibility for you?
Because I have no ear or patience with working with sound and producing and making sound that people can enjoy and dance to and glow stick to and lights and EDC type and all of I don't have that patience or skill set to do that. I'm fully aware that I don't. Unlike Boyce, who still thinks he can sing, although he was in the chorus back when he was in.
Never said I could.
That's true.
Said I did.
4 years of it.
But I don't see. But that would, to me, would be just an awesome dream job in Ibiza, one of the most beautiful places on earth, making people happy by playing your songs, by remixing other songs, and just night in and night out, just boom, go. Like that would be. Are you done? Oh, let me go to the beach in Ibiza, or let me go to my pool, or whatever. Like that, just.
Yeah, you have a look for it. You got the look,
man.
But what would your DJ name be?
Yes.
I know you've thought about it. You know damn well you've thought about it.
I swear to you, I have not. I would. Oh, I don't know what. I have no. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what my DJ G Giraffe.
Who? I would never
exactly.
see you.
G Giraffe.
I would never see you.
No.
I don't know what my DJ name. If I don't know when this episode comes out, if anybody has a good DJ name for me, shoot it our way. Because I swear to you, I haven't thought about it. I guess you have to have one, but there's some
like
good ones
Paul
out there.
Oakenfold. There's people who have their actual names.
Yeah. They're called Glenn. Name one famous person that just goes by Glenn.
That's kind of where I was going with DJ G Giraffe. The first G stands for Glenn, and then Giraffe.
I think the giraffe throws it off.
Yeah, you're right.
Just go with
DJ G. DJ G.
DJ Fair Dog. Shout out to Ryan.
Oh, yeah, there. Yeah, Fair Dog.
Fair Dog.
Fair Bear.
Fair
right,
Bear.
And then the realistic one.
The realistic one would be to own and operate a brewery of some sort.
Which we have talked about.
We have talked about it. I did a ton of research on that, and I still have it.
Yeah.
So
it's one of the friends of ours who I do another pod about. He's been talking about when he's done with his job that he's doing overseas at the moment, wanting to start a brewery as well. But that I think would be right up kind of something local, providing a local flair, a different taste, giving back to the local community by giving people a place to enjoy a drink after work or on a day off or with friends or with family, doing it responsibly, obviously, but having that place that kind of brings together the community. And you see that with a lot of the breweries in this area. They're all over the place. Look at, Crooked Can, Three Odd Guys, Castle Church. They all have these different vibes. You go to each one, you can pick out. So it's like a restaurant in a way. One of my favorite shows is Diners, Drives In and Dives. And that to me is one of the coolest shows because he, Guy Fieri and the crew go around and they try all of these local spots, but have different flares to them, have different food items, have different, there might be a Japanese place in Montana that he goes to that's owned by the Smiths, but it's renowned and it's like everybody goes there and it's just such a local thing where I would like to see that started for breweries, the way that breweries have taken off. There should be a show. We're going around and showing these breweries and all of these different cities are popping up everywhere now. And to bring that to a community, I think would be great. So that would be like my more realistic dream job.
That's up your alley too. Everything you just said is Ferris. Like it's, your connection to breweries, your appreciation for them, your appreciation for community. It's a very Ferris vibe. Everything you give off is exactly what you just said. So I think, if you're ever heading down that road, dude, you've got some friends who are definitely here to contribute. Because
I appreciate that.
You'd be great at it, dude.
And who knows if that's the case? But I've looked into some jobs within breweries in the area, and we'll see what comes of it. Right now, I'm actually drinking a local to where the area I'm from, a Reef Donkey APA, American Pale Ale from Tampa Bay Brewing Company. If you don't notice, Tampa Bay sweatshirt as the Super Bowl is going to be taking place this week. That kind of takes us to our next segment, What's the Topic? And the reason I kind of showed that beer, and it's kind of a good segue, is we had a topic sent into us by a friend of ours named Daryl via Instagram. His handle is alpha_physique. And he wanted the topic that he sent in was just different beers. So that is very vague, but there's a lot to work with with that, I feel like. And because different beers, we're not going to sit there, we're going to cover, okay, this is what a stout is. This is what an IPA is. This is what this is. That's not, we're not that kind of show. But like, there are so many different beers out there. But when were you guys kind of first introduced to beer?
I can show you a picture tomorrow of when I was 1 year old.
Oh, God.
There's a can of Michelob about 2 feet away from me.
Michelob, yes.
Somebody took a sequence of pictures. It had to have been like 1976, 77. It took a sequence of pictures of this beer 2 feet away from a little year-old Kris Boyce, and me looking at it, crawling toward it, grabbing it, taking a sip, and then the face afterwards. It's the greatest sequence of pictures I have in my entire life. And they're black and white. I've held on to them. They're classic photos of me viewing this beer, approaching it, downing it, and just a horrific reaction afterwards. That was my first beer experience. 1.5.
Michelob?
Michelob. I mean, it was the mid-70s.
I know that beer. Yeah. No, I know that beer. That was your first beer. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd say for me, I can't recall like an exact instance on when I had a liking towards beer. I say I didn't acquire a great taste for it until maybe after college, because college time, like back then, breweries weren't heavily popular. It was just kind of binge drinking, and you just getting a case of PBR, that whatever's cheapest, and getting as trash as you possibly could. So back then, I mean, beer was just what's going to get you drunk quicker.
It wasn't quality; it was quantity.
Yes,
correct.
That's 100%
at the cheapest rate.
Back then, yeah.
So after college, and when breweries started becoming popular, that's when I started going and understanding really what types of beer were out there. And I've always had a loving for IPAs. I mean, you guys know, anytime I go to a brewery, it's always an IPA. Whatever's the newest IPA out there, I'm going to have it, try it. Yep. Yeah, it probably wouldn't until 7 or 8 years ago. But now I love beer. I love it.
That's interesting because IPA is not like a new term, but within the last 10 years, it's definitely become much more popular. Where, to like Boyce's point, Michelob was almost, I'm pretty sure it was one of my first beers that I got into as well. Reason being is my grandfather had a cottage, and it's still in the family now, but up in Ohio, you would go into the cottage. You had a tiki bar set up as soon as you walked in. And if you were, of age, you did a shot, which was usually Lord Calvert Canadian whiskey. Not the most bottom of the barrel, but definitely down there in terms of that. And then you would go over, and on his fridge, he had a tap that came out. And you went into the freezer and you got a frosted mug, and you would pour yourself a beer. So you had a shot and a beer. And for the longest time when it was available, Michelob was the beer of choice out of that fridge. So we used to go up there every summer as kids. And at some point, not of age, but, your parents let you try those things within the confines of them and family. I believe Michelob was one of the first that I tried as well, from a frosted mug. And I remember kind of not liking it at first, but also going, this isn't half bad. It's not as bad as I thought. I don't know if it was because like the allure of, well, everybody else is doing it, like the adults are doing it, and it's this frosted mug, and oh man, this is great. But so yeah, it's funny when you said that. That's kind of what it first brought me back to. But high school, college, it was, Phil, you're right. It was anything that you can get your hands on. Cheap beer, like cheap lager, like just Milwaukee's Best and
Ice House.
Ice House, yes, Ice House.
Natty Ice.
Natty Ice. What was it? Bud Ice? What was around
for Bud Ice for a while? PBR.
Yeah. PBR. We didn't have too many PBRs. It was mainly Natty, Milwaukee's Best. Ice House was like, if you were going to spend a little bit more, you'd do Ice House. But yeah, I didn't like IPAs at first. I was either. Like lager central. I just do pretty much any lager, and I just thought it was too hoppy. I thought it was too strong. The more I started to have IPAs and the different IPAs I have, I really grown a liking towards IPAs and having it be stronger than a lager, but not going to peel your teeth off and hit you with so much hops that you're like, holy crap, I need to not do that.
It's a great point. It's almost like it's a refined taste, where initially IPAs couldn't stand in for the hoppiness, but now that's all I have. My beer fridge in the garage has 16 different IPAs in there. I like the triple IPAs now. Triple IPAs with like 10%. I like a little kick. But yeah, over time, it grows on you. It's exactly what you said.
It's true. And that's why when you texted and say you were having Dogfish Head 120, man, that thing
peels your teeth off.
That thing sat me on my ass.
Yeah. I had 2 of those last night. I woke up this morning a little, yeah.
Damn, man.
Yeah, they're good.
Good Lord.
Yeah, and I'm right now, I'm having a sour. The Sirius Black. Shout out to previous employer. Yeah, from one of our favorite of Ferris and I's, Bowegian's Beer Company. Absolutely amazing.
Great
what
stuff.
An absolute phenomenal brewery. So if you haven't checked that out, it's over in Castleberry. The Castleberry area, just a fantastic brewery.
So IPAs are probably the all of our favorite type beers. But what's your go-to beer? Ooh. Like, what if you go to the store now, what do you buy pretty much? Okay, I don't want to try this, I don't want to do that, but I'm going to get this almost every time.
I know what yours is.
Of course.
I know what
Pacifico.
yours is. Yes.
It's not an IPA. It's a Mexican lager. It's only like 5-point-some%. I don't even know if it's that. It might be like 4.5, but it's just one of the best, smoothest drinking. Have it anytime, anywhere. Add a lime to it. I could do. Keys? What's that?
Dos Equis?
Dos Equis.
Dos Equis.
No. Well, I mean, I'll drink that, but I'm not going to buy that. That's my go-to. If any place has that, I'll go to Pacifico.
Oh, Pacifico. Okay, gotcha.
Pacifico Lager. Yeah, it was. It was actually mainly. I had it several years back out in California for the first time, and it wasn't out this way yet. And within recent times, you can see commercials on it now, and you'll see it in stores. You'll see it on tap at various spots. But yeah, that's my all-time favorite. But that's my go-to.
I don't think I have a go-to. I just anything that's new. I just enjoy trying different breweries, different types of beers. I don't really have a go-to. I just go to the aisle and find something I haven't had yet and pick it up.
That's where I am. I'm like the adventurist where there's a local place near me that serves all sorts of different craft brews from locally and nationally. So anytime I go there, I try to find something completely different every single time. I'll go to the Untapped app, look at ratings and reviews, and make sure that what I'm getting is a decent one. Anything rated 4 and above on the 5-point scale, I'll go and search it out and find it. But yeah, every time I go to this place, I try to find something different every time. That's why there's 15, 16 different beers in my beer fridge right now. Every time it's something different, always something new.
Yeah, that's good. I would say the only thing that would be consistent if they ever sold it would be that collaboration between Tactical and Bowegians, that third wheel Hobgoblin.
Oh, that is one of the best beers.
That's the hard part. When you find a really good beer and the breweries have limited production. I was actually out to this place yesterday, and there was this beer I absolutely loved. The past 2 times I've been there, I basically bought them out. I said, hey, you guys have this policy where you have a beer, and once it's out, it's done for good? And he's like, that's not us. It's the brewery. So the breweries only create limited quantities of these beers. So when you find something that's great and it's from a small craft brewery, man, you got to jump on that as soon as you can. There's times where I've bought 5 or 6 4-packs knowing I'm selling this place out because this is the rest of it. And it's one of the best beers you've ever had. So you've got to grab them while you can.
It's interesting because like with the one that Phil was just talking about, it was a collab. So it would take something to mass produce that and keep it in, to put it in stores, to put it in your, in your down the street shop or, whatnot. But a collab like that's not going to happen year round. That's why breweries have core beers.
Right.
And their core beers usually then go with different beers. They have usually a core lager, a core IPA, a core stout, a core pale ale, a core blonde ale. They kind of have those type of cores, and those are the ones that around here you'll see. What is it? A Good Can. They have their few Cloud Chaser, High Stepper, Egger's Own. They're going to mass produce that. But any of those special type items, like they're either seasonal or they're out during a certain time or they're a collab. It's done to obviously bring people back and back.
Yeah.
Come in, get that, try that, love that. Now you want to know what that brewery is going to put out next. Now you want to go back to them. Now you want to try, you may not see that same beer on the store, but if you then go back in 2 months down the road and you see the brewery again and you go, oh, last time I saw them, I had a freaking awesome red IPA. Now they're coming out with this Imperial Stout. Man, I want to try that and see how they did, stouts. So the different beers topic, I think from Daryl's an interesting one, especially if you're any sort into beers. There's just so much out there now for trying different beers, picking up different beers. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a good Budweiser, a Bud Light, a Corona, absolutely not. It's all what you're feeling, your taste, when, where, how. I mean, if you're in the backwoods of Alabama, you're not going to go up and say, hey, can I have the Imperial IPA done by so-and-so? No, you're asking to get a fucking Bud Light.
You can
or
say that, but you'll
Budweiser.
get your ass kicked.
Exactly. Right. Like that's what you're going to get. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's so many different beers out there that, especially in nowadays where you can share something instantly and you can put something out there and say, come down to the brewery. You can order online. You can have it sent to you. You can have it shipped to you. There's what's the app that you were
Drizzly, Untapped app.
No. The one that you told us about that would deliver
Drizzly.
beer. Drizzly, yes. Which I think was actually just bought out by Uber, right? Yeah. But it's so accessible that you can try different beers all the time now. That's what's awesome. And we thought we might as well cover two topics, right? Because
do it.
Something that goes hand in hand with beers and different beers, video games. That was a topic sent into us by a gentleman named Deacon via Instagram. His handle is yummy_meal.2008. So thank you for your topic suggestion. Another two-worder and quite broad, but video games have played a role in many people's lives for many years.
Video games. God. Man, I can't tell you one more infuriating thing than video games. Sure, you might be great at them, but you could be the sweetest person and nicest person on earth. Video games will reap the devil from your soul. Like that thing will bring out every ounce of hate in your blood. It is the most... And Ferris and I can discuss this very easily because he and I go back... I one time went over to his apartment in his old place and... There were just marks all over the wall.
What?
All over the wall. And
true.
I'm like, what the hell is that from? And he just kind of gives me that look. And I'm like, no. This motherfucker throws controllers.
Controllers flying.
No.
Just absolutely flying.
Michael Ferris throwing controllers.
100%.
If you have ever
anything
played
I had
FIFA, if you've ever played FIFA, that will bring so much anger out of you. Or Call of Duty.
I would pay money to see that. I would pay money to see Ferris.
Just join our chat, put in some headphones, and you can listen along.
I say some words that would make my mom blush. It's not good. It's video games suck. Phil's right. They suck. They're terrible.
What video games bring out the worst in you?
Oh, FIFA. Without a question. FIFA.
Why?
For the past 10 years. Why? Because it's bull. Because it's a fucking hacked ass game. That don't get me going on this. Do not get me going on this. That it's somehow I
explain what FIFA is to the listeners.
I've gotten no better at it.
Explain what FIFA is to listeners who don't know.
That what? Sorry.
Yeah.
Explain what FIFA is to people who don't know.
Video. So you have your like genres in video games, right? You have your first person shooter, your sports games, your fantasy games, your RPGs, yada, 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 so on, so on. FIFA is a sports game. It is made by EA. They make Madden, and they used to make an NHL game. Do they still do that?
They do.
Yeah. They do.
Well, they just came out, so they're coming back with college football.
That one. Okay. Yeah. That one was one of the ones that, in college we played. Yeah. All the fights would happen all the time off of that. We would be USC and Florida, and we would just go ahead, and the score would be like 70-70 against. You'd be in the same room, controllers go flying, chairs, awesome. But FIFA is a soccer-based game that you can do a various number of things with. You can play as a player, you can make your own player, you can play with people online, you can play with, team up with somebody online. There's just various modes that you can play. You can play with your favorite team, you can play with your favorite player. And one of the modes they have is FIFA Ultimate Team, where it's an online-based platform of their game that you can build a team. But it costs. You have to open up packs, or you have to buy players off the coins that you get from winning more games or qualifying for tournaments or this, that, and the other. And it's just infuriating, especially when you're playing online with other people, and it's fun, but you basically play soccer on this video game. But FIFA's my favorite currently, but it's infuriating.
Man, I would love to see that. Throwing a remote control at the wall.
I encourage you. And
$50 too, man. Cheap.
It's true. And Boyce, like, whenever I sense Ferris will get frustrated, I'll go ahead and shoot you a text and I'll just let you,
right,
I'll
good.
just shoot you a party invite so you can just listen in. There's times I get pissed too. I mean, I usually just quit the game and I'll be talking to Ferris one moment, then boom, gone. I'm done. Want to go have a beer somewhere or just smoke a cigar out back. Like, I need to calm down. But man, FIFA is the most. I've been playing that since probably 1998.
Yeah.
I've played every single year since 1998. And every single year I question myself, why the f*** am I buying this game again?
100%. Every time. I mean, the Call of Duties are obviously up there. I don't know. I haven't gotten into them as of late, but you know, they've had some good ones. The one that really set me off as a kid, not set me off in like a bad way, but that I loved and I could not get enough of, GoldenEye.
Dude, did you actually read
N64? Oh,
I read, and I saw this on Instagram, I think yesterday actually, which is pretty convenient, but the Xbox made a version of that N64 platform and converted it to an Xbox game. And I think that happened in like 2013, but it never was put out there.
really?
I didn't click on the article. I didn't see if they were coming out with it soon or something like that, but I did see that GoldenEye from N64 was going to be able to be played on Xbox. So I'll do some more reading on that and I'll text you, but
Yeah, please do.
that was the case.
That game in what was it, the 90s?
Oh yeah.
Had to be one of the best selling games out there. I mean, every kid wanted it, played it. It was, if you were into any sort of shooter type games, that was the cream of the crop. And that kind of, in my opinion, set the course for Call of Duties, for
100%.
What's a Battleground, or you know, PUBG and like all of these. It was GoldenEye that started that off 100%.
Dude, did you ever play Duke Nukem?
Oh yes, and Commander Keen on the old Windows. Duke Nukem was fun.
Doom,
yeah.
Man, yeah, I played some NFL Blitz, Mario Party. There's N64 was where it was at. I still 100%. Actually my pop got real pissed at me when he realized that he didn't. I think my mom sold ours in a garage sale one time, and my pop bought one the other maybe 3 years ago. He bought another N64 just so we could play NFL Blitz again.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Oh, dude, if you go into my closet in my room, top shelf is a original Nintendo.
Nice.
Nintendo from back in the day, back in the 80s.
So do you have
got RBI baseball, ice hockey,
Super Mario
Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 3,
Duck Hunt
2,
Duck Hunt.
Yo, Duck Hunt was phenomenal.
But don't have the gun though.
What good is no gun?
No gun. Don't have the gun, but I have Duck Hunt.
You can buy it somewhere. You have to be able to buy the gun.
I'm sure there's an app for it now.
Yeah.
That
I was a Atari kid though.
You'll get the eye gun now.
The eye gun?
Yeah, Ferris. I mean, he's in his Mac, AirPods, iPhone, iPad.
Eye gun.
Now he's going to get the eye gun.
Why not?
Here it comes. That's all he's going to be talking about for the next week.
IR-15.
IR-15. I don't like, video games have evolved so much, and obviously as computers and everything else have. My grandma had you held it and you turned it on and went beep beep. The Space Invaders game.
Yeah.
The blue, that it's a simple game. The thing goes back and forth, and you shoot as the thing goes back and forth. You try to take out as many as you can.
That's a Missile Command.
Missile Command. It was something like that. I don't remember if it was actually Space Invaders, but it was.
Right. Sorry.
I don't remember. But Galaga. I mean, going back to like the arcade, we're going like video games arcade, Tetris, and
Tetris took that's the reason I probably failed out of college the first time. Man, it was damn Tetris. Facebook put out a game of Tetris. Me and my cousin were up to like 3 a.m. every single night playing stupid Tetris challenge.
That and Pac-Man.
Man, you want to go old school? Old school? Let's talk about Atari. 1980. I was 5 years old. Atari came out. I was the biggest Atari guy that you'll ever see. I had an Atari jacket. It was like a polyester type jacket with Atari on each of the sleeves.
Do you still have it?
It was.
Please tell me you still have
God, I wish I did, dude. But yeah, Atari was the thing. Just the joystick and the one button. It was
awesome,
great.
dude.
I was
so what was your favorite game for Atari? 'Cause I didn't have an Atari.
It was called River Raid. It was basically this jet that flew down this river, and you're shooting things that are coming at you, and you're just shooting stuff. It's a very basic game where a jet's just going up the screen, up a river, and you're just shooting things. It was, the Atari was very basic.
That's awesome.
Sports games have always been my big thing. Especially my brother and I. My brother and I every March have a Boyce Brothers week. Once a week, we get together. He comes down. He takes leave from the Marines, and we play the NHL games and MLB games. Baseball and hockey are two of our biggest things, and have been throughout our entire lives. The hockey games with the original Nintendo, with the
NHL 98, was it? No.
What was the real 94.
Popular one? 94.
94.
Yeah. 94.
Yeah. So those are huge when it comes to us two. But yeah, the sports games were big with us. Very big.
There's just so, like, you think about it now, and we're at what? We're at Xbox X. Is that what it's called?
Is it?
The X series, yeah.
X series. You have PlayStation 4.
I don't know. I don't buy PlayStations, but
yeah, the
Xbox X series.
Yeah, you're talking about like Atari.
Mm-hmm.
Then it went to what? Super Nintendo?
No, Nintendo.
Oh, that's right, Nintendo. And there was Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, right?
Yeah.
Was that about the same time?
And N64.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't N64. I think the box,
Sega,
the cube thing, Sega.
What was a cube? Man, all these nerds on here are just gonna rip us.
Yeah,
like the Nintendo Cube thing or whatever it was.
No, it was.
But like Sega had some awesome games. Sonic the Hedgehog. Donkey Kong. I can't. It wasn't I think it was just the Nintendo Cube. This box thing that you put a disc on top.
I can't remember. I didn't know.
Anyways, and then it went to, what was it? Was it just the original Xbox? The original PlayStation
360 was it?
Then it went 360, and then it went Then
it went
one. There's still a whole nother realm of PC games.
Oh,
with joysticks and everything else, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons, whether it's Elder Scrolls or what I don't know all of them that are on there now, but any of these games are like cross platformable. You can play Call of Duty on your Xbox and PlayStation. You can also play it on a PC. So I
just bought a game last week.
Yeah, what'd you buy?
There's a weird element of shame when you're past 40 and you're playing video games, to where I don't play them until everybody goes to bed at night. You won't see me playing the video game during the day, anytime until everybody's in bed, because there's this element of like, man, I'm over 40 and I'm playing a video game. Should I be? Let's wait till the entire family's asleep. And I bought Hitman 3, which I love the games where you're a sniper. Games. I love games where you're a sniper. You sort of have to like create a strategy to kill people. And Hitman is awesome. My brother and I play it. We'll talk about it. We're like, dude, you just download Hitman? Yeah. But I don't play it during the day. I don't play it where anybody else can see me playing it. It's really strange, but I play it at night only when everybody's asleep. And because these games take hours and hours to complete, it'll be like 10 o'clock to like 2 a.m. I'm like, damn, I got to go to sleep. It works against me, but that's the only time I'll play it. For some reason, I can't play it during the day because I feel like you're a 40-plus-year-old man playing a video game in daylight. Something's not right. So I don't do it.
I think the shame's there any point after like your college years. Like, I'm a grown adult. I'm paying for car insurance, yet I'm still buying video games. But with that said, now you see on like ESPN and everything else, there's these tournaments where these people make millions of dollars where you can make a living off of playing a PC game or an Xbox game or a PlayStation game and doing what we're doing and like commentating on you playing the game as they're seeing the screen and you going through this dynamic world of Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. And that's how you get paid to do that. So like now I don't think it's so much of a thing where you shouldn't be like, okay, I gotta hide away and I gotta wait till everybody's asleep. Or now I just played for 5 hours. I wasted 5 hours of my life playing a fucking video game.
The inner conscience makes you feel that way, but in reality, you shouldn't.
Yeah, you really should.
It's really not as bad as you're making yourself feel.
And there's so many out there now.
There's little Leroy Jenkins in all of us.
Leroy Jenkins.
Every time I think of that, I think of John Lewis.
Oh, good old J. Lou.
Jenkins. I love J. Lou.
Yeah, but thank you to both Daryl and Deacon for your awesome topics. Although 4 words between the two topics invoke some great conversation, memories, thoughts. Feel free to share your guys' thoughts with us. Anybody out there on any of the different beers you've tried or video games that you like, send it to us on either Facebook, Instagram, or comment on YouTube when this video hits that eventually. We are still working our way towards podcasting platforms. It's been a while, but we have been approved for iTunes, and we're trying to work that out. We're also working heavily on the sound quality as best we can. We've had a lot of help from a good friend of ours, Mr. Tony Smith, who is working with us a little bit, and we greatly appreciate him. And the first podcast that we ever did should be out on iTunes at some point, and he had a very big hand in making that sound much more presentable than what we have been able to do on our own. So thank you to him. You boys got anything before we sign off?
Nope. We good, man. We good.
Cool. Always good to see you guys. And thank you all for follows, likes, loves, and hope everybody's doing well.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Laid Off Lads podcast. And if you're hiring, well, you know where to find us.